Good morning.
Good morning. Catherine, I'll be like the host of the Zoom room for this, so I'll just introduce you and the presentation, then you can just take it from there.
Okay, and it's Bruce and I presenting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I knew that. Hi, Bruce.
That's okay. I just know there was a couple mistakes, or they forgot his name at one point, so. Let me kill everything on my back end that might slow my computer down. Bruce, do you have audio yet?
And what's Bruce's last name?
Gross.
Gross. Okay.
Hey, Bruce, you're on mute, if you don't know that.
Unmute.
There you go.
All right. So who's going to give me control? Catherine G or Catherine F?
When I'm done with the presentation part and we get to the tour, you will click share screen down below and then pick the screen you're going to share, just like we've done before in Google Meet.
Okay.
You should add your last name to your profile where it just says Bruce there.
How do I do that?
Click on yourself and say edit. I think it's under more and rename.
Let's see. Oh, more. Okay. I have chat, record this.
You should have had rename. If you click on more.
Yeah, more only has two options for me, chat and record on this computer.
Oh, that's weird.
And this is Zoom, and I don't understand why. I have a background of the Bay Bridge, and it's not coming up either, and I can't find it. Rename. It's under a different thing. Okay. Bruce Gross. Okay.
So for your Bay Bridge, if you click stop video, and then there should be a video settings or choose virtual background.
Backgrounds. Okay, perfect. All right.
There you go. Now you're getting yourself together.
Yes.
You should move your camera up a little because your head's kind of cut off. There we go.
There's not much up here anymore. It's horrible.
Well, I hope the other Catherine can put up with us during this hour.
Oh, certainly.
We'll keep her in.
I've just got a few things going on in the background here, so I'll be right with you.
No worries.
Do we know how many people are attending?
We won't know until they start filtering in.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday, oh my God, I had the absolute worst presentation. Like my brain was not connecting, and I've done the presentation before. I did it for WeBank, a national women's organization, like weeks ago. And I don't think I presented that bad in the last 5 years. It was like brain fog, and I'd be like, and I couldn't even, it was just bad all the way around. But I think what threw me off also was, for whatever reason, people weren't set up to be able to self-enroll in that. And Gavin caught it, and so it was a good 10 minutes in before we had anybody in there. And then I think we only had like a couple because nobody could sign up.
Oh, that's not good.
No, but we caught it. We had a few in there, but I was just so discombobulated. I sucked is what it really came down to.
I'm sorry. Well, you'll be pleasantly surprised if I can pull off what I'm going to try to do. Just for the beginning, I have it so that you can actually see the front of me walking towards everyone if people were in here.
Interesting.
Can I share screen?
I don't know if you want to do that yet.
Well, I'll just show you and then
Okay.
I'll undo it.
Yeah, hit share screen.
Do you see me?
Yep.
So why does it keep blacking out? So I'll be able to walk forward. That way, at least they don't see the back end of me the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn around because I can't walk forward through the whole thing. It just doesn't work.
That's fine because I like where you can see where you're going also.
Right. Well, that's the most important thing because, yes. And I was able to make so when I go to change management, I got the change management video to run at so I have it set up. I have everything set up. I've already run through here. And I gotta see if I can get this clock closer to me so I can keep track of time. Oh, I can. I can put it right there. That way I know where I'm at.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And let me see if I could see the chat while I'm doing this. There we go.
So I need to watch the chat while you're talking.
Yeah, or Catherine will also, but yeah, you
Okay.
can. Which one are we on? We're on that one. Okay. I don't like the font. Looked fine until I blew it up.
Well, it looks like it's turned into pieces.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So, but if anyone were to ever say anything, which I doubt if anybody would, you're just saying this is we're showing you bits and pieces of 3D.
You're a mess. All right, so
You stopped sharing, yes?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
just looking at the font really quickly.
So just to clarify, it will be a lot easier if you're, especially with two people reading the chat. I'm not necessarily facilitating the discussion. I'm just providing the Zoom room.
Okay.
Because I think it works a lot better if the presenters themselves are tracking the questions, just because I have no context for what you're trying to do. So it'll work a lot better that way.
Okay. Yeah, before they said, oh, and there's a question, you know, if we didn't see it, sometimes
Oh, sure. I mean, I
say,
can do that. I just wanted to be very clear, like I won't interrupt or anything like that. I'll let you
okay,
float. And if I see one that's missed, I'll
yeah, just
check it for
let
you.
us know. And
Yeah.
we're probably gonna chat back and forth and make fun of each other while we're presenting. So hopefully people will enjoy that. And check. Here we go. Are you still cool in Phoenix, Bruce?
It's only going to get to 100, but the humidity's been high. So where's the humidity? We're at 54% humidity.
That's a
And
shower.
yeah, and southeast and west of us, they got hit really bad yesterday, but we got nothing. I guess where I also am at, in one part of Phoenix, we had nothing. But here at the house, Rob said that there was a few raindrops and thunder. Now we did have rain Wednesday morning, and that lasted a good half hour.
Mm-hmm.
But on Saturday, we lost two limbs, and I'm talking two big limbs out of two trees that we had winds that I've never seen before. It was just incredible. And then that happened again on Monday night. So, and we're supposed to, it actually shows we have a 30% chance of rain for tomorrow, but they're saying this week and next week is we might see some good monsoons, and Lord knows we need the rain.
Did you see Germany has like catastrophic floods?
No, didn't see that
Yeah.
at all.
Good morning, everyone.
Right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Kathryn Greiner, and I'm a professor at Carroll College and helping out hosting Zoom rooms. And I have the privilege today to, for this hour, to be hosting the Level Up online training with 3D immersive training environments with KathrynFortin and BruceGross, and I will let them take over. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get started. If you have any questions, feel free to at any time ask a question or put it in chat. So as Kathryn said, you have Bruce, and here's a little bit about Bruce's background. And you have myself presenting today. Bruce has more squares because he's older.
You said you wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I lied. So with the combination of Bruce's face-to-face soft skills and 3D and my background in technology, infrastructure, integration, solution architecture, and gamification, we've been a great team putting together these 3D environments for companies. So today we're going to find out a little bit about you guys first, and then we're going to talk about why 3D, and then take a tour and wrap everything up. So let's get started. You guys can go to, and I'll put this in the chat, WooClap 3D World, and participate there either on your web browser or on your cell phone. And so what role, and it looks like we have stuff from the last time we did this. What role do you play? So when it comes to 3D, are you an instructor, faculty support? Just let us know and type it in on the WooClap, and it should auto update here. So we've got trainers, instructors, faculty support, faculty. All right. Cool, that helps us quite a bit. And we have a couple more questions. Just, have you ever used 3D for training before? So it looks like nobody has except for Bruce and I. And have you ever used 3D for gaming? So if you ever played Sims or Second Life or World of Warcraft, all of those, they're very similar to what we're going to be showing you. And the platform we use is very similar to Second Life, but it's not Second Life because of the security issues. And I think we have one more question for you guys. Do you think adding 3D immersive environments would benefit your training programs? You know, you don't know exactly what we're talking about yet, but we're just trying to get an idea before we start showing you. All right. Looks like you guys are waking up. So thank you for playing with us. So why 3D? So the advantages gives people a sense of being present with others. We increase engagement and retention of the material. You can push it, retention up to 90% with group activities and collaboration, and people are interacting with the environment. Collaboration happens seamlessly on the environment. It's easy to incorporate real world scenarios, and we'll get into a lot of those. This is actually a computer room that started smoking for one of our clients. You can easily practice on the job behavior. And you become emotionally involved because there's a lot of realistic scenarios going on. So virtual reality experiences, and some people probably have used the goggles in traditional VR, are appropriate for course material because it allows you to interact and gives you a better idea. We've used this for training building inspectors and contractors on how to apply the energy code on a job site, because no contractor is ever going to let a building department official learn on their job and find all the problems that are going on. So this has been really great to bring the job site to the classroom. And it's also been able to give real world scenarios in safe settings. We've done sexual harassment awareness training in here as well. So if we look at traditional virtual reality with the goggles, we found out it's not good for anybody with vertigo, any inner ear issues. If you're going to add the goggles and all the equipment, you've got to add your help desk to be able to support the equipment. You need a 360 video and editing equipment to create the training. And of course, you've got to buy the VR headsets. With 3D immersive training, you can do it in self-paced or group collaboration. It allows the users to interact with the environment so they can pick up things, touch things. We've got embedded PowerPoint and quizzes and activities. You don't need any equipment other than your computer. And it's really about engagement. So we're all instructors. We know studies with lecture-based instruction, retention is 10%. Discussion-based activities can go up to 40 to 50, and then you can push it to 90. And a study with IBM, simulation using avatars in virtual world has improved retention. And that's the same as your group collaboration activities. So does anybody have any questions so far? Have we thoroughly confused you, or have I, since Bruce isn't talking yet?
No, I'm behaving. No, there's no questions.
All right. So let's take a quick tour. And Bruce, just grab, I'm going to stop sharing. You start sharing.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I hope everyone can see my screen. This is Cooper Swizzle. This is my alter ego, my avatar. And I've been doing this for quite a few years. And as you may have seen, I graduated from the University of Washington taking their 3D course. The reason I got into 3D is I am the type of person who is not good at viewing things. Sharing the screen has stopped. Let me try it again. I've got no signal on my upper computer.
So click share screen.
Okay, now it should be working.
Yep.
All right. I'm the type of person, when I'm a learner, I need something visual to see. And eventually I got bored with what I call death by PowerPoint. So when I saw the 3D environment, I thought, wow, what a great way to teach people and keep them engaged. So this is our training course for how to help an avatar. It's teaching people how to use their avatars.
And so when we onboard a new client, we add this to their training. So everybody that's within their company will be able to move and understand how to use the avatar.
So as you can see, my avatar can run. And we start off training very simple. As you saw, first I was just walking on flat land. Now it's climbing, learning how to control your buttons, because that's all it is your arrows, and staying in place. And as you will see, we can set up the scenery to pretty much anything that we'd like to do. Now, the company whose sim we're using, that we created, they are a painting company, a national painting company. And they actually have their people, and I'll show you their people in 1 second, because they're all avatars, and I believe they have 30 different avatars. They have their people come in, their new employees, and they learn how to estimate for interior and exterior paintings. So as you can see, they're multicultural, they're all different shapes, sizes, men, women, to keep it interesting just for them. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different houses. Some of them are 2 stories, etc. But what we did was to create this environment, we made it more interesting by not just looking at the interior or the exterior, but we have crown molding. And I'm going to come up real close to, they even have to figure out how much is it going to cost to have these holes in the walls fixed. That's just one of the uses for 3D environments.
So the painting franchise company had us do different windows, different doors, different moldings, different materials on the inside and the outside of the houses and the commercial buildings, so they could explain to the new franchisees what they need to consider when they're quoting for new painting jobs.
So then, as Kathryn mentioned, we also set up sexual harassment, because in California, it's a big deal about getting it done. So with this, we've made it as interactive as possible. So as you can all see, we did it in an outdoor movie theater, and the students read the question, and then it's multiple choice. There's also true and false. So what we did here is they stand on their platform, and depending on what answer they want to give, so when they're at this box, this is for the multiple choice, this one's for true false. They click on the box, and as you can see, it turned to A, B, and C. This way, they're staying focused on what you're training. They're not hopefully looking at their cell phones. We can also do a true false by, as you can see, the box is white at the moment. Green means yes or true. Red means false. Because you're using this 3D environment, your avatar or your learners are following you, and you create pathways. What you want to do is you want to keep it simple for them. And you're all thinking, well, how am I going to do this? I don't know how to build. I don't have these boards. These boards are your PowerPoints that you have. You can take your PowerPoints that you've done for all your different trainings and easily upload them into this program. You can make it unique and different. Here's a little coffee shop that we set up for everyone, popcorn machine. And these people you see standing around are not avatars, they are mannequins. So as we zoom in, things sometimes take a minute to res, that's what it's called when it's clearing up. We started off this training with, why are we talking about this? Is it because of the Me Too movement? And you start engaging your learners very easily with this. One of the things Kathryn mentioned was scenarios. So I'd like you all to look at these two different scenarios. So here's the first one. And remember, this is all about sexual harassment. So we're going to say the first one is number 1, second one is number 2. In the chat, why don't you type real quickly, what do you think is happening in each of these scenarios? And Catherine, I found the chats. Catherine, I can't see any of the chats because of what happened to my screen.
Somebody put intimidation. We have conversations appear to be happening.
So in the intimidation, is that for number 1?
Probably.
All right. So my interpretation of number 1 is he's an ex-hairdresser and he was just trying to push her bangs out of the way. The other scenario, because this is a great way to get people engaged and talking. To me, this one is he's shunning her. She's trying to get him to go out with her. But you wouldn't believe the different conversations that you can come up with when you set up these types of scenarios, which is much easier to do than in a face-to-face training.
What we've also seen is even if your class is in the same room with computers in a training center, they tend to engage more and talk more with the avatar versus just in the class. It takes a level of, I don't know what you would call it, intimidation away, because they'll definitely interact more and talk with each other, even though they're sitting side by side.
Very true. So in this instance, this is the end of the training and it's a true false and everyone reads the question, and then once they answer it, doesn't matter which one they click on, it will automatically tell them if they were right or wrong. So again, you have the option to get people engaged. You have them doing something. And the other thing that I forgot to mention, which is really important, is a lot of your trainings can be done either asynchronously or synchronously, which is really helpful, especially if you have a full load. From here, I'm going to take you over to our ADA training. And this was set up for a client that needed to show their employees what they needed to be aware of when they were looking at what things were obstacles in the way of people that were in wheelchairs, carts, even on, canes and things like of that nature. So imagine this person here that is a mannequin trying to maneuver her go-kart thing through this obstacle. This would be a little bit hard to do in a face-to-face training unless you had all the stuff available. The other thing is it allows everyone in the training to experience the same thing. That's why 3D is still totally different than what we're doing right now. And what I mean by that is you're visually watching this. Hopefully you're engaged in wondering, where is my avatar going? So I have an advantage with using 3D because I can use it both ways. I can use it as a webinar because it does keep people looking because they have no idea where I'm going or what I'm going to do. Or I can have them in here. And
Charlotte,
again,
we have a quick question.
Sure.
Charlotte, yes, audio can be added when we're doing classes in here. everybody's talking with each other in the environment.
Yeah, so if you look above my head, you'll see green. That means I'm talking, so anyone near me will be able to hear it. Or if you look down here, I can say, I can talk to people.
We have another question. Hey, Randy. For the text slides, are there some accessible options for those with low or no vision or visual color issues? Is there zooming in to see better? And yes, there is audio. So you can zoom all the way in on questions and everything. And you can change the colors. You can make the slides better for visually impaired as well.
I'm going to change the color of this box just so you can see how easy it is to change color. Or I'm going to just texture it. That box was just a blank box. Now I've done this to it. Once you start learning how to use the 3D environment, which we're very happy to show you, it starts becoming routine. I get to the point where when I'm working on a PowerPoint, I think I can do something, and then I realize I'm in PowerPoint. I'm not in the 3D environment. Moving along, so I've shown you, and we've both discussed training in the sense of things that you definitely want to be training when it comes to soft skills. But did you ever think about things that you talk about with your students, but they never can see and neither can you? So in this instance, and I'm going to fly so I can get through it quicker for you. This is a cave, and it's an actual, well, this is my rendition of it, but this is an actual cave in France called the Lascaux Cave. You personally can't go to the real one, but they have set up
Anymore.
Yeah, they've set up a mock copy of it that you can walk through. But this is where some of the original cave paintings were at. So when I was taking the class at the University of Washington, this was my project, was to create the cave. So this is the cave paintings. This environment can be very immersive in the sense that it allows the students to visually see what they could never get to see. I mean, how many of us are going to be able to get to France to see this? And it's not just the cave paintings, but it's also an environment to show them how the people lived. So here they are in part of a volcano cooking their meats.
And what we've really liked about building trainings in this environment is it's similar to the Moodle community where there's a lot of collaboration. So we haven't had to build everything ourselves. A lot of people have textures, items, trees, furniture, all that for free that you can just reuse in your own environments, which cuts the cost quite a bit way down.
And one other thing that you can do to put it into Moodle is sometimes you need videos. You can take a video of this through like Camtasia and insert it, I believe. Is that correct, Catherine?
Yeah, so for Pacific Gas and Electric, where we're training building departments, we do video of the specific areas that they're training on. And then during the Adobe Connect training, virtual training classrooms, they just run the video of this that has been pre-prepped. So they didn't have to worry about their trainers having to be in here. We would do it outside the actual classroom and then just use the video of it taking out any troubleshooting issues that they may have if they're not technically capable.
And then speaking of videos, you can actually put videos in the 3D environment.
So Pam, this is a 3D immersive training platform. It's similar to like Second Life or The Sims, and you can build pretty much anything in the environment you want. And then we've added PowerPoint and video and activities for checking people's understanding within the system.
So thank you for that question. And now moving on, you're going to see what happens. That is called a pop-up. If you noticed, I was walking and then the screen appeared. This is another way to keep the students paying attention. So it's not just always screens up all the time. Now I'm going to fly around this mountain. So this is the sea of uncertainty. I think you've all heard, you know, with change management, teaching people that there's acceptance, denial, explore, resistance. This is a real powerful visual, whether it's on the screen like we're doing with you right now, or if they're here in the environment. Because in some places, if they want to, you can come up with your own little scenario of something and have the students walk to where they feel. Are they, you know, resisting the change, denying it, or etc. But one of the clients that I was working with before I met Kathryn, they wanted a traditional classroom. Well, we have buildings that you can do a traditional classroom, but what's wrong with an open air classroom? And again, these are mannequins, these are not real people, but here's desks, chairs, and you can put your presentation on this wall. Very similar to the one you saw when we were doing the sexual harassment. Not sure if any one of you teaches behavioral interviewing or needs to, but this one we just created, and it's an outdoor space. It's easy, and what I'm showing is the ease for how your students can get through here. So you don't have to worry about them getting lost or whatever, because sometimes when you start things out in buildings, it's hard to maneuver. It's hard to maneuver through the buildings. But you can create all different kinds of environments and keep your PowerPoints that they can still see. So this little symbol up here for this training means keep clicking because there's more to see. And then again, for visual, this is all about using the star when you're doing behavioral interviewing. So this kind of reinforces it. And then again, classroom. Here's a fun little classroom for everyone to be in. So what I've done is I've set all the desks around the interview. And here's where we have the students pretending one of them's the interviewer and one of them's the interviewee. The nice thing is you can still have a debrief at the end and hear what everybody has to say, but sometimes visuals are even more interesting to look at. So we can go to the opinionator, and the opinionator actually is asking them from strongly agree to strongly disagree on whatever question you were to ask. If you notice, the center where I'm at right now is blank. After I've asked the question and everybody goes to where they think, watch what happens in the center. A circle will come up and it'll eventually turn into a pie, depending on where your students are standing.
And you can download all the reports on how long the students were in, what they answered, et cetera, on each of the questions through the environment. Also, Bruce and I are dyslexic and also get very bored in traditional training. And so we kind of were drawn to this early on and have been able to adapt it. Go ahead, Bruce.
Oh, thank you. So this is, some of you may have heard of training called situational leadership. This one is based off of it. It's called Leaders Protocol. So it's very similar, but this is a game that they can play once they understand the concept of what they've learned. And what the object of the game is to put 4 of the correct boxes on the platform. And they can easily grab the box. And of course, now it doesn't want to do it for me, so I'll just move it myself. And watch the butterfly. It says, sorry, wrong answer. Please try again. So this can be done competitively or collaboratively, depending on how you want the students to be engaged in this environment. Again, I mentioned when we were at the change management that you could put a video into the 3D environment. So I'm going to give you a little negative on doing it that way. Sometimes if you don't hit the button to stop it, you will hear it all throughout the land. So the other way of doing it is by setting up a video library, which is quite simple to do. What you do is you just make your boards and you can link them. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, here's the secrets from the science of persuasion. If they click on it, in the upper right hand, I hope you can all see it says go to the page. What that does is it takes you out to the internet and you can watch that video. When we used this, it was quite interesting because I had 15 students at that time, and I forget how many videos are up here at the moment. But I told them it was Monday. Please choose a video, come back in later, choose a video, watch it, and come back on Friday and discuss what you learned and why people should watch the video you chose. The class only is supposed to run for 2 hours. That Friday class ran for 2.5, 3 hours because everyone was trying to convince the other one on why they should watch that video. I can't do that when I'm doing a face-to-face training. To me, a face-to-face training is great if you're only going to give them a little bit of knowledge. What I mean by that is you're not doing a data dump, having classes Tuesday through Friday, which is what the company I was working for wanted. This you can do in chunks, and we all know that we learn better when we're doing things in bits and pieces. All right, the last thing I want to show you is my piece de resistance. We are going, okay, first I have to stop flying. We are going to go see, we're at Paris right now, as you can see. And if we scroll to the other side, you'll be able to see the Eiffel Tower. But this is a training for leadership. And if you look at the lower left-hand corner of my screen, once I start the gondola, you will see that it talks, it's telling you things. So continue tour. So as it says, the tour will continue in 5 seconds. Please board the gondola. They're going to go through the Arc de Triomphe. And in each one of these sections, so there's Paris, Venice, and Greece. They get out of the gondola at each location. and they are on a scavenger hunt. In Paris, they have to find a cheese board. In Italy or Venice, they have to find a pizza box with pizza in it. And in Greece, they have to find urns. In each one of those items, there is a note card. The note card gives them a quote. From the quote, it tells them, and I'll show you that in a second, it shows them a question that they have to answer. And what we're going to do is we're going to cheat, stand up, and we're going to fly over. Well, first I want you to see Venice, in case you've never been there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the pizza box. So it looks pretty authentic. Here's some food and everything, but here's the pizza box. When I click on it, you're going to see the note card. It gives you the quote. Now there's an action item. Respond to the following question. They have to respond to this. They can then edit this note card. They'll put their name in here, right up here. And then what they do, get the note card out of the way. Is they will walk over to the mailbox and drop the note cards in the mailbox. You as the instructor will be able to see what they've written. As soon as they put it in there, it will pop up on your screen. So that's the time that I have for showing you the 3D environment. Kathryn?
Let me pop back to our presentation. How are we doing on time?
Okay, I see one of the questions. It says, is this a plugin? No, this isn't. So
there actually was a plugin for Second Life several years ago. I don't think it's
just a download now.
Yeah, we're working on connecting it to Moodle, but it is not a plugin yet. Let me share my screen. Okay, and does anyone have any questions so far before we move ahead? We showed you a lot in a short amount of time on the 3D, and you can unmute yourself if you have any questions.
Hi, this is AC. Have y'all done any work with healthcare?
Yes, and actually, on the 3D world, we've done some safety training, and we have a hospital built. We've worked with healthcare with Moodle more, but we do have some small pieces of safety. What are you looking for specifically?
Anything but primary healthcare. I'm thinking this would be fabulous for our nurses when they go through their annual skill assessments. They could walk through something like this versus, and then save our in-person training for those who may need some more hands-on reinforcement, but just to capture a lot of those skills going through this.
Mm-hmm. It would work quite well. And at the end, I have a video that we have that we had made that has little bits of clips of first responder training and some other stuff that I can show you.
Great, thanks.
So just to wrap things up, traditional training, a lot of times you'd have to, there would be hotel expenses, food, you'd have to cover somebody's shift if it's, you know, nursing, police, etc. But this, they can do from anywhere, save some money. Outcomes, leadership training, they're engaged. Employees are very able to work on team building. Again, saves money and it lowers your carbon footprint, which is very important to us.
We have a
And-
question. We have a
Okay.
question. It says, how accessible is this? The pop-ups are particularly an issue as they are often difficult for a screen reader to find and navigate. The pop-up screens that you were seeing when I was popping up, after I'm done with it, I normally close them. I apologize. I accidentally left my inventory up, which was blocking part of your view. It's something that you just get used to doing, closing things down. Just like if you have a bunch of screens up when you're trying to work on multiple different things, you would do the same thing in the 3D world so that you have full view of what you're seeing. I hope that answers your question, Nancy. If not, if you want to unmute yourself and explain a little further.
Yeah, as long as there's like a quick key that you can use to close those, or there's some kind of
Oh yeah, it's a quick click.
notification. Yeah,
That was a great question.
You can also set a timer so they pop up when they're in a specific area and we could time it to pop them down. And then as you saw when Bruce was on the gondola, there was, I guess you could call like closed captioning, telling them what's going on. You can use that throughout the whole system if you want to.
and everything's, you can navigate just by using the keyboard. You don't need to.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
I have I think it's a 2-minute video that shows what we've done for the utility work and more detailed training. If you guys want to see that, it's on our YouTube channel also. Hopefully you can hear it. Yeah, it would help if I actually had it on.
The last year has been challenging for everyone. The silver lining is that during these unprecedented times, everyone's become more comfortable doing common tasks, such as meetings, virtually. We at Vortex Solutions are on the cutting edge of virtual training technology, and we're here to help you move most of your training from the boring classroom to a fun and realistic virtual training environment. While this will never replace all field training, Vortex Solutions will eliminate the need for costly and boring basic training. With our incredible 3D simulation technology, we'll help your employees get up to speed faster. Our training simulators are more like video games and not at all like in-class training. Once your employees are on the job site, this will translate to familiarity and a faster ramp-up time. This will save you time and money, something we can all use more of these days. Our photorealistic simulations will provide your employees on-the-job experience from anywhere. After our realistic training simulations, your employees will be familiar with the site because they've been there virtually many times.
I'm going to turn off the sound, but that was a training for PG&E where we had to open the ceiling. This is part of the hospital training. And then this is a server room that had some lights going on and people had to troubleshoot what was going on with it. So any questions?
Yeah, Randy had a question. Can you also have full keyboard support without the mouse? Is there HTML underneath this? Underneath this screen reader can navigate in the usual way?
You can use the keyboard without the mouse, just like you can in gaming.
Yeah, that's good. I was thinking, about what Nancy just asked a moment ago. I was thinking about, since I do a lot of work with the underlying HTML and getting accessibility stuff to work in Moodle, which can be a real, can be really difficult with content. I was wondering underneath how the screen reader would actually handle this so you can move around.
That's a really good question. I haven't tested that. That's something I would be very curious about as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like the ability to quickly navigate around in the sections and the parts. We're doing it all visually. If a screen reader was reading you the structure as you move through places, you could do the the equivalent of that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
yeah, just an open-ended question.
I can talk to you more offline, but yeah, the Moodle programmer that I've used quite a bit, we're looking at how to launch this and run it seamlessly as a plugin.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I mean, constantly still these days, I constantly find people have interesting sites online, but they don't understand what's going on in the world of education and how important LTI support is. And so they haven't built an LTI, they just haven't put it into their application. So you're left with all kinds of horrible messes, like integrating authentication and integrating, what's going on, and there's none of that stuff. Single sign-on to apps and all that's missing. It's a cost. It's an additional cost for clients and schools for that integration being missing. And it's
exactly
really disappointing that, you've got a standard that solves this problem and people just don't do it. So that's my rant about lack of LTI support. Yeah. Every major LMS in the United States has support for this, but other applications you want to integrate don't. So
what I was trying to figure out if we could do is, because the base of the 3D world is actually open source, if we could install it on a publisher LTI server.
Exactly.
And that's where we are with trying to figure out if we could do this.
Cool. That would be really, really cool. Yeah, let's talk later about this. I'd be interested in jumping back in and helping this out, because I can think of some people I work with who would like to go in this direction, but without the integration, these things are usually off the board for most schools.
For the painting contractor, they were using Docebo, and the best that we could do was with a hyperlink launch it out of the course.
Yeah.
And they had to have the software already installed on their computer, but then we were able to pull the reports out of the 3D environment and upload them into the gradebook with a CSV batch type file. But that was as close as we could get in Docebo. PG&E doesn't use an LMS, so we haven't had to worry about that with them.
Yeah, reporting and analytics is a whole nother conversation. Let's have that another day. You can talk about that next year, because that's another big thing. So people are always asking me questions now. What can we get out of the database and put that in Tableau or whatever it is these days? That's the big hot thing at the moment, and to run analytics on it. So, if you've got tons of data, who went where, how many people are looking at which of the objects, how long do they stand in front of something that they read, that kind of stuff. That would be awesome if you could get those kinds of numbers.
We can, we can definitely get how long they've been in there, what they've interacted with, did they get the question right or wrong, all that we can get. It's
Nice.
now what we've been working on is how to connect that into Moodle now. So we don't have to have a manual download and upload into the gradebook.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Cool. Awesome. This is great stuff.
thank you. Anybody else have any questions? By the way, it's lovely to hear your voice, Randy.
Yes, hi, Randy.
Hi, Bruce. Let's talk offline, but I'm back in Oregon at the moment, so I'm not that far from you, except for the
I'm s-
fires.
And I'm still in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk. I was in Oregon for the 120 degrees a few weeks ago. Which,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's good. Well, actually, that's good. I keep more Californians from moving here. Sorry. Had to say it.
all right. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to unmute. You know, Bruce's favorite cocktail is a dry martini. Hopefully he's not having them this early.
No, but I could go eat the blue cheese olives right now.
Anybody questions? I can tell you the extremely intricate training that we created for PG&E ran about $30,000, but then what they've been doing over the past 8 years is adding on additional pieces to the winery that we built for them. And so we've done HVAC training, we've done fenestration, talked about insulation in the walls, lighting, solar, refrigerated warehouses. So once they had one training or one building built, we've added on additional external buildings and stuff. And each one of those, depending on how complicated it was like $1,000, maybe a couple to add more scripting and some additional features. So they never start over. We're just adding little pieces and changing things and adding more activities within the same system. And then we just create different trails for people to go through. That's all we have for you guys today. Unless you guys have more questions, we're happy to sit here and answer your questions for you.
We will have another session coming in just a minute. So for
All
the
right.
11 o'clock.
Let me stop sharing. You guys are very